Hello everyone. We'll wait for 10 minutes for students to join. The session will start at 5:10 p.m. sharp. Get ready with a stable network connection and enjoy the session. Thank you. Hello, and a warm welcome to the first day of the 7-day Web Development Bootcamp, brought to you by Code for Community CFC Club at Government Engineering College, Raipur. We are thrilled to have students not just from our college but also from various colleges I would also like to mention our fantastic partner clubs, GDSC GGV, GDSC GC Bilaspur, and the Technical Club of NIT, making this learning journey even more exciting and diverse. Your presence reflects your curiosity and proactive approach to learn, and that's fantastic. Today, we are in for a treat with our special guest, Mr. Vishal Rajput, graduated with a BTech degree from 𝗍𝗃𝗃 Subhas Institute of Technology. He is not only an ex-front-end developer intern at some renowned companies like 𝗬𝗎𝗃𝗃, Castle, and CareerLeap, but also a mentor to thousands of students. He is founder of Front-End Freaks and even runs his own educational YouTube channel. How awesome is that? Mr. Rajput is here to make web development easy to understand. He'll cover topics like what web development is, job and internship opportunities in India and abroad, the magic of front-end technologies, and how to use React and functional components. Before we dive in, here's a fun fact for you. Did you know that the world's first website was created in 1991? It was a pretty basic page, nothing like the awesome websites we have today. Remember, all you need for today is some basic knowledge of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So let's have some fun learning together. Feel free to ask questions, and if you have any doubts during the session, don't hesitate to use the chat section. It's open for everyone. Without further ado, let's give a warm welcome to Mr. Vishal Rajput as he starts our web development adventure. Over to you, sir.
Hello, everyone. Am I audible? Hello.
Yes, sir,
Just
you
let
are
me know.
audible.
Yeah, thanks. So, first of all, let me give you my brief introduction. So, hi everyone. I am Vishal Rajput. I recently graduated from 𝗍𝗃𝗃 Subhas University of Technology. You heard about NSIT a lot in like YouTube and lots of other college. So if I talk about my college journey, so in last 2 to 3 years of my college, I have done 6 remote internships. I have worked for lots of startups, plus I have worked for lots of NGOs too. I am very interested in the front end development and the web development to be specifically, and also I do lots of teaching work. I teach front end development since 2 years in the offline, in the online phase, to the edtech, and to the on my YouTube channels too. So in today's session, we are going to understand what is web development to be precise, and then we will understand do we have some remote internship or do we have any opportunity in web development in 2023. Nowadays you see almost all companies have their application. Android development is at the boom. AI is going super high. So will the web development is a good future in the 2023. So we are going to discuss about all of this. But before going ahead, I want to know how many of you heard about the web development or at least have the basic knowledge of web development. If you have, just write yes in the chat section. You can write yes or you can raise your hand. Okay, few of you. Cool. So I can see lots of you already know what is web development. Got it. Okay, so I can find like almost everyone know what is web development. Okay, no problem. So let me just share my screen and I will give you a brief introduction of what is web development and what are the some prerequisites for learning the React.js. And then we will solve few learn the basics of React.js to be precisely. So is my screen visible to you? Just say yes or no. Yes. Okay. Cool. So let's come to the web development. In the web development, we have 2 parts. If we come, let me just make my stock to this. Yep. In the web development, we have precisely 2 parts. First is the front end, where I am very experienced. I'm in the front end. And second, we have the back end. If you see any website, let me just Google few Flipkart. How many of you have used the Flipkart? Did you see the website? So here in the website, you can see we have some like search bar option. We can search something here. Here are the some navigation, become a seller. Here is some signing option. Then we have some here. We have the carousel. So, and if we scroll down, there are lots of other stuff. We have the images. We have some huge banner. This is the huge advertisement. And then if we scroll down, we can find there are lots of other links, a payment, careers, terms of uses. There are lots of stuff in the website. But what is, if I talk about the broader term, what is this website is made up of? So here, if I break down this complete website, you can find that in the website, this is the one component which is we can say navbar. This is known as the navbar, which is our navigation bar. From this, we can navigate to any product, any brand, or any thing we want to go using this search bar option. Here we have the logo. This navbar component is also breaking down to this logo, the search bar option, and some other option. Simply, we can again break down this website to the header, and we have lots of other stuff. So we can say in the front end, we have to design the UI. We have to design the UI, but not only the UI, we have to do lots of other stuff too. Do we have anything in the chat? Okay, yes, it's visible. Okay, so in the front end, what we do, we first of all, we do the UI work. How you are seeing the lots of good and also responsive work. It works perfectly fine in the desktop. It's perfectly fine in the iPad. It's perfectly fine in the mobiles too. So yeah, so here you can see the UI. The second thing we do in the front end is the state management. State management. Don't worry, I will just explain it how it's happening. I will give a brief introduction of this so that you can understand the backend. So here, if you see, there are lots of mobile, and if I just reload it, the mobile change, the top offer change from the mobile, and now I'm getting few new offers. So you see, the data you are getting on this website is dynamic, and this dynamic data is created with the help of the data which we get from the backend. Okay, and but before going ahead, I want to know how many of you are comfortable in English, and if you are comfortable in Hindi, do let me know, because the main purpose of this session is to help you to understand what is bootcamp. Okay, so if you are understanding Hindi, English, yeah. Okay, so all of you are comfortable in English. That's perfect, perfect. Because understand, like, this terms. If you understand this term in English, that's the better way. So wait. So for this state management, you have to get few data from the backend, and you show that backend data onto the UI with the help of some technology. So now let's discuss about the technology. So I hope you understand the basics term. So in the front end, we build the UI. In the backend, we get the data. We get the data from the server. So here, if I talk about, let's say, this is my computer, and this is the server, how it look like. Okay, you can assume this is my server. So if I type here flipkart.com, so how it work? It's go to the server, it's get the data, and so this some HTML, CSS, and JavaScript file, and reload those HTML, CSS, and JavaScript file, and so the beautiful UI here. So this is how it's work. So now if I talk about like ये brief introduction था कि कैसे होता है. अब अगर ये समझ नहीं आया कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, ठीक है. We are going to understand what is the front end. Okay. So majorly in the front end we used to design our website. So for designing our website we need three things, three stuff. So first is the HTML. So here, if you have at least a basic knowledge of HTML, so as I mentioned that it has the navbar, headers, it has some text, some buttons, some images, and lots of other stuff. So what this HTML do? HTML will structure our website. And if you have the knowledge of CSS, So what this CSS do? Because if we use the basic HTML, they don't color our, they don't give this background color, this height and width. For that we use CSS. This is used to design our application. And finally, we need a JavaScript. Basically, if you have these three things only, you can build your entire application. And for the JavaScript, if I click on become a seller, you see I am reloading to something, some event is fire. So this is the, we can say for event, or generally we say the mind of our app. Now, because all of you are here for learning React.js, so I want to know how many of you understand HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, at least the basic of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. How many of you know? Just write yes, because I can't see the hand. Yes. Okay. Don't write yes. Write no if you don't understand this thing, because I feel almost all of you already know HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. If you don't know, then write no. I don't know. CSS and HTML. No. Okay. So there is a one person who don't know. 2% who don't know. Okay. There are lots of students who don't know a little bit. No, I don't know. Cool. So the first thing is you can't jump to React.js directly. To be very honest, if you don't know the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, learning React.js will be very difficult for you. Very, very difficult for you. Because why do we work on React? Why do we work on React? Why do we work on React? So React.js is a simple library. It is a declarative library. So it is a declarative UI. So I will talk about this declarative UI. But before understanding the React.js, you should know how to structure our website, how to design our website, and how to use some basics of JavaScript, like what is the function, what is the loops, conditional statement. So if you talk about the prerequisite, so let me give you the prerequisite. So prerequisite of learning React.js is, prerequisite is you should have a basic knowledge of HTML. Basic knowledge means heading, paragraph, span, div tag, table tag, forms tag. That's all. Nothing more. Okay. For CSS, you need to understand Flexbox. You need to understand how grid works. You need to understand what is the media query, and some basic stuff like background, font, and font families, kind of stuff. These are some main thing that you should know. And one more thing that you should know is JavaScript. This is the most important. If you don't know HTML, if you don't know CSS, if you don't know HTML, CSS in that, no worry. But you should have the basic understanding of JavaScript. This is must. So what you should know: the data types, the variables, the operator, the conditional statement. Then you should know about the loops. There are lots of types of loops. So just a quiz. How many types of loops are there in the JavaScript? If you know the answer, just let me know in the chat. How many types of loops in the JavaScript? So for an hint, I can say there are 5 loops. Let me know if you know the right answer. Conditional loops, and you should know about the function. So this is the basic prerequisite of learning React.js. Anyone? 5. Okay, you have right the 5, but what is the 5? So we have the for loop. We had, let me write it here. So we have the for loop. We have the while. We have do while loop. And then we will have, after do while, we will have for of loop. And similarly, we will have for in loop. Okay, I was wrong. We have for each loop also. So this is 6. Okay, not 5. We have 6. Okay. Yes. For in, for each. Yep. Do while. Cool. So we have this 6 loop. These are the 6 loop. So you should have the basic understanding of this stuff. Along with that, you should know the basic stuff of basic knowledge of array, how array works, and how objects work. How object and array work. And I can say string also, if you have the basic knowledge of string, but at least you should know how array work. And in the array, there are lots of methods, like 10, 20 methods. But I would say if you know how to map, how to filter, how to reduce, if you know these 3 methods, that's all you should know. What is the ideal time, like how much time you will take to learn all this? I would say you can learn HTML pretty much in just 1 or 2 days. 1 or 2 days. Hardly 1 or 2 days. For learning CSS, you can just devote your 2 to 3 days. I will talk about that, how you can learn, okay, if we have the time. And for JavaScript, 15 to 20 days are enough. After 1 month, you should start React. Okay, but okay, I missed one more thing. I missed that like you say, यार ये तो सीख रहे हैं, मैं समझ गया, मैं वेब डेवलपमेंट सीख लूंगा. But what is the motivation behind learning React.js or learning front end or learning web development? Do we have web development job in the market? Let's find out. Let me go to LinkedIn. Okay, and let me just search here front end development. Front end. Let's go to the job section. Okay, let's go front end developer. How many jobs are there in India? I am talking about the India. I'm not thinking about the front end whole over world, the remote job. I'm just talking about in India. How many jobs are there? If you can see, can you see this 7,912 jobs? Can you see that? And if you don't know, just to clarify you, this is not a small company. Lowest India, 197. This is from the Paytm. Fubo. These are not a small companies, IBM. These are the very big companies, Accenture. And there are lots of other, these are the very big companies. They are not any random small startups. Okay, so now you can find that there are lots of hiring for the front end role. And we can say, if you learn the React.js, you can say React.js developer. Is my screen visible now? मतलब जो मैं आपको कोड दिखा रहा हूँ या फिर जो ये दिखा रहा हूँ, if I talk about specifically कि React.js developer के कितनी है, so there are high demand of React.js developer in India. I'm talking about just India right now. If you see in the world, it will be booms to be 100K. Okay, so here you can see 12,000 jobs in India. 12,000. And this is for the single website. This is for the single website. If you go to the Naukri, Indeed, Wellfound, and other stuff, you will find there are more than 35,000 jobs of front-end development right now. More than 35,000. So there are lots of jobs. But what is the average package? Let's just Google it. You just need Google average package of front-end developer in India. It may be low, but it's not you can say for the fresher, you will get from up to 11K, but this is very bit low. The average here is the 4 LPA, which is good. 4 LPA for a fresher is good, but to be very honest, if you understand the front end development or the back end, combined web development or simple front end development, if you understand the basics of this front end basics, plus if you have the very good projects, plus if you have good social presence, you will get lots of what do you say, you can easily get 12 to 15 LP jobs. 12 to 15. Okay, for that you don't even need to master solve 1,000, 500, 600 DSA problem. No. For DSA, you maybe have a doubt of how much DSA you need, but I can say if you skip the DSA also, if you just have the basic understanding of DSA and you are very good in the front end, good projects and the social presence, then you can do that. But okay, so first of all, let me know how many of you have a doubt in web development. We will discuss about lots of other stuff like how to do this React.js, but I see lots of you already don't know the HTML, CSS, JavaScript. So learning the React.js will be a little bit tough, but I will give you a brief introduction of React.js. But before that, let me know if you have any doubt. You can open your mic and ask me any question. If you have any, you can just unmute yourself. Do you have any doubt? I want you, no doubt. Okay, cool. So let's start it. I need to take one screenshot. That's why I just, no job. Entire screen, save. Please suggest some example of projects. Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. Is my screen visible to you? This is just like 4:20, like 4:20. So just 1 hour back. This is the message which I'm getting currently. Hey Vishal, some stuff. Let's skip that. I'm looking for a full-time front-end developer. Yes, forwarded your Twitter account. So if you have a good Twitter, LinkedIn account, founders, co-founder will directly reach out to you. And out of the 6 internship I'm getting, most of the internship I got directly from the founders and co-founder reach out to me. Not I am applying for the internship or I am not applying for this. I got most of the internship because the founders, co-founder reach out to me based on my open source profile, based on my LinkedIn or Twitter work, where I share my projects detail or my learning. So this is what I'm telling it right now. If your college do not provide a good placement, try to learn everything online. Showcase everything whatever you are learning online on the LinkedIn and the Twitter, and make good projects. Now somebody say what types of good projects? So this is a good project. Is my screen visible to you? No? This is a good project. So you are saying what is a good project? So if you talk about this project, here you can see you can use the pen, you can lock the screen, you can use like for the view access, you can do this. You can make like pointer, you can add the. If you think about this, you will feel like this is a very basic project. No, it's not. No, it's not. When you just do a simple pen, let's say this is my pen, and if I click from this to this, how many event is fired? You can't calculate. Hundreds of event is fired when I click a link from this to this. So for scaling, for doing API, like for what do you say? So for throttling, for debugging, you have to use lots of advanced concepts for saving this code, for importing any image, for exporting the image, for using some frames tool, for using some web embedded code, for using this. You know, this is the very good project. If you're asking what types of projects you should make, try to make a sketchboard. Sketchboard. The optimization you need, it's like if you make this project, single project, you don't even need to see any tutorial. You are already a champion front-end development. If you are someone who can make this sketchboard project, you are already champ, because see how much things are happening here. If I just go here, you see I can drag it. Drag and drop is itself a very big complexity. This kind of project you should make. I can zoom it. I can do lots of stuff here, you know, if you see. So this kind of projects, there are some other projects like you can use a webcam. You can use a webcam project. You can use a Google Sheet project, which I am going to, whatever project I'm mentioning right now, I will going to create those projects on my own YouTube channel. So this, what do you say? The sketchboard and other stuff, we are going to build it. So I think it's a good time to start. Do you have any doubt, or should we start to our first learning? Do you have any doubt? To be very honest, for creating a React.js, you can just go and just go here and say Node.js download, and you have to download this. If you download this, then you can use, you can create the React project. So just download it for your system, and then goes to any file. Let's say I'm going to here. I'm going to some bootcamps. Yep. And then you have to just open in, what do you say, in the VS Code, or you can open in the terminal and simply here I'm going to create just React documentation. What is the best way of learning any tech stack? It's the documentation. So here, if you scroll down, you can find getting started. So click start. Any doubt? Do you have any doubt? Why are sir, by learning development we increase our career gradually? Yep. So देखो यार, earlier ना lots of students and lots of developers think that front end development is very easy. The reason behind that, the kind of design you see in the like way back in 2016, okay, it is very boring. Nowadays, almost all website have the very cool 3D design, very cool framer motion, very cool what do you say, animation. If I just go to Apple, apple.com, let's say, and see the kind of animation we have. Are you seeing this? If I go to any product, let's say, let's go to Mac. If you see this view animation here, so this kind of product they are building. If you are able to do this, there are lots of stuff that's happening here. If I go to iPhone, I think they should do animation. Why they are not doing? But you should understand that right now the level of front end development is happening is very good. Okay. So what I am planning to do here, you just open it and just write Control Shift, or you can open the terminal from here, and you have to write npm create React app. Okay, wait. Something. Why are you raising your hand? Do you have any doubt? If you don't have any doubt, so you can just, sir, what is WhatsApp? Web app. Okay, web application is simple. If you go to, let's say, Twitter, if you go to Twitter, okay. So here, do you see this icon? Do you see this icon? Yes or no? To bolo. And did you go to some email? Did you see the Google Sheet? Did you see the Google Sheet? How it's work? Did you check out the Gmail? How it's work? These are the web application. These are the web application. Okay, these are the example of web application. Okay, so we are going to create. Let's go to the installation process. So if you go to the installation process, they will say how you have to install. Start a new project. Just do npm create next. Why it's saying that? Okay, nowadays we don't use npm create React app. So earlier we used to do create React app, but we don't do it right now. The reason behind that, the create React app is very slow. So I'm not going to do that stuff. So what we are gonna do is, let me just show to you. Let me first. Wait. So what we are gonna do is, rather than using the npx, you should know about the white and you should know about the Nest.js. But we are not going to discuss that. So what we are planning to do, we are going to use the code sandbox. So here in the code sandbox, if you want to make a new project, just click on the new sandbox and just click on the React.js, and boom, your React.js project is, you got the first project. Okay, this is how it's work. Very simple. So we are going to use code sandbox, and I always recommend you to use the code sandbox rather than creating your own. The reason behind that, generally, while you are learning, while you are not building your like big project, you are just learning and you will create lots of projects. So that will be very difficult to manage in the VS Code, but that is very easily manageable in the code sandbox. You create the project, you go backward, like you save it, like first project or whatever you learn in this project, you go back. And if you want to show this project to someone, you don't even need to like deploy it. Just click on share, just click on copy link and share it with your friend that I have created the project. And what will the recruiter will, if you also, rather than adding your GitHub code, if you add the code sandbox, recruiter will come here, he or she will see the output, what is happening on the website, and he or she will check the source code. On the same website, they can see the website, they can see the source code. So yeah, this is how to do that. So what you have to do it with me, like मेरे साथ करोगे अपने आप करोगे. चलो ठीक है, बता देता हूँ. Just you have to go to code sandbox and just log in with your GitHub account. How many of you have the GitHub account? How many of you? Just write yes if you have. How many of you have GitHub account? Yes? Cool. Great. So let me show my GitHub account. I have created a lot of other good stuff. So there are a good way. Like if you create this project, you can just check out with the GitHub account. You can give a GitHub permission and you can set it as a GitHub repo too. But we are not going to dealing with that. Okay, we are not going to dealing with that. What we are planning to do here is we are going to learn it. So okay, without any talking, let's start learning. So in this React.js file, you see there is a one package.json which will store all the dependencies, and we have few other dependencies and other stuffs too, but we are not going to discuss that. We are going to discuss about the entry point. So this is the entry point of our React.js. This is the entry point of our React.js. Here we have this app.file. So let's go to this app.file, and here we have few stuff. If you already know HTML, so you can see this is kind of looking like the HTML, isn't it? Yes or no? Yes or no? We can write it in this way. So if I just remove every single thing, and what is the first thing we do in the programming? Whenever we learn the new tech stack, what is the first thing we do? We write hello world program. So if you have to write hello world React.js program, it's done, perfectly fine. This is the simple hello world application that we have to create. But there are lots of things you can find it in this line. So what I'm planning to do, I will remove every single thing so that you understand. So first of all, if you have to create the function, so you should know how to create a function in JavaScript. That's why I say that's the prerequisite. So for creating a function, we say function, and then we write the function name. We can write app, but in React.js, it is recommended to use a first letter as a capital. And then we finally, yep, this is how we write. This is how do we write. And here I can return, what do you say? 1 plus 1. Okay. Here I can do 1 plus 1. You can do, let's say, if have some function. Let me show you some example of function. This is the sum function. And in this sum function, if I say, let me just go to, okay, cool. So here if we have the sum function and I write a comma b, and it will return the a plus b. So this is a simple function which is taking two argument. This is the argument a comma b and returning the sum of a plus b. But in the JavaScript, we have the app which take the parameter. We will discuss about this and later or in the upcoming bootcamp. But it return JSX. It return JSX. So let's, before discussing what is JSX, we have to discuss, we have to discuss what is JSX. Do you know what is JSX? If you know, write the full form in the chat. If you already know what is JSX. I want to make a more of like interactive session. I don't want to give much information. I want you to talk more and more about how much you know about the React.js or the HTML, CSS, JavaScript. So what is the full form of JSX or what is JSX? Do you know about that? No idea. JavaScript something. Okay. JavaScript extension. Good. Okay, so here we can see, if you see, we have the JavaScript. We write something like a div, and inside this div, we write h1. If it's not working, just goes to here something like JavaScript and make it React JavaScript, so that this shortcut will work. Yep, and write hello world. So now you can find here we have some HTML. But if I want to write some number here, if I want to write some variable, let's say how to create the variable, you can create the variable let name is equals to Vishal. And if I put I'm saying hello Vishal, but what is this name? Name, or I can say it is a JavaScript variable. So you can add your JavaScript inside your HTML, and that is known as JSX. So in short form, we can say JSX is JavaScript plus HTML. So you can add your JavaScript code, you can add your HTML code in the same, and that is known as the JSX. Cool. So let's say if you want to write some number here. So if I say 1 plus 2, so what is 1 plus 2? It's 3. So it will calculate and write that value here. Okay. So inside this curly bracket, whatever we are going to write, it will assume that thing as a JavaScript and evaluate according to that. If I write name, so it find it as a JavaScript variable, find the value here, it find the value is Vishal and it's printed here. If I say like 2 into 2, so it will say 4. This is how it works. Now, how this JSX will help you? So let's think about the test case. You have creating your own e-commerce website. Okay, so there can be two possibilities. Again, let's go to the Flipkart. Here is the sign in option. Okay, and here is the sign up option. So if I am already signed in, so choose a platform where I am already signed in. Problems. Okay, so here you see I have already signed in. That's why it's showing my profile, Vishal Rajput, and my profile. And let's say if I sign out. Now what it's saying, sign in button. So you can think about this like depending on I am signing or I have signed out, this show me different layout. So let's try to run that. So I am saying let sign in or login. Let's login is equals to false. Okay, and now what I'm planning to do is I will say if login, then you have to return this source. Otherwise, you have to return sign. Are you able to understand this or not? And that should be written. Okay. Are you able to understand or not? Like if it's a basic conditional statement, so first of all we understand about the function, but this is a basic conditional statement. If you are, let's make it a true. If I make it true, they will have my username, that is a Vishal, and it will say hello Vishal. But if I'm not logging, then they will say sign up. Pretty much we have developed this feature like sign in, and if I do the sign in, then they will say they will show those information. So let's put the value, sign in. As soon as I sign in, it show my detail. Okay, and we have developed this simple function. But in the React.js, we don't write if and else condition like as we do in the JavaScript. So rather than writing this, we are going to use a ternary operator. Because you see, I'm repeating this code. I'm repeating div, I'm repeating hello, I'm repeating so much code. So rather than doing this, can I do something like that? let's say if I open this and write if and login, something like that. Is it possible? Let me know in the comment section if it's possible or not. Else I will say this, or I will say h1 hello. Let me know in the comment section if it's possible or not. Is it possible to write if and else statement in div inside the JSX? As you can already see, it's not possible. We can't do that. Okay. So what we generally do, rather than writing an if and else, we use the ternary operator. So how to use the ternary operator? It's very simple. You just say you have to write the condition. So I will say login. So it will check it is a true or not. If it is true, then I have to show this. Then I will return this. Otherwise, so here it is a colon, and I will say otherwise show this. Now, whatever we are writing in the like 5 or 6 line, we can do it in the single line. So now if you see, it is just 3 line of code. 3 line of code. So let's make it, let's make login equals to true. It become hello Vishal. Let's make it false. It become sign up. Are you able to understand this or not? If yes, so we can discuss few more things, but I think हमें यही discuss करना था आज की क्लास में कि how this thing work and like how React.js work. But if you want me to discuss more things about like state, props, so we can discuss that. But before that, if you want me to discuss few JavaScript concepts, like how JavaScript work and what are the basic like if conditional statement, loops and array method that we need in the React.js, so we can discuss that also. So बताओ क्या discuss करना है? Let me know, like I have a time I can discuss, but this is what was like somebody asked me to like, this is the curriculum that we have to. So in the day 1, we have to discuss about the functional component. We already discussed about it. There can be few more things that I want to discuss. Like if you see about the export default tab. So how this export default works? So in the JavaScript, there are 2 kind of default. First is the name default. First is the name export, and second is the default export. So currently your app is exporting default. So if you go to the index file, you are saying you are using this kind of this. Now, if you see, they are importing using curly braces, and we are importing without a curly braces. Why it's so? And the reason behind that is this is the default import and export. So if I do that, I can also write in this form. I can also write in this form. But for that, what I have to do, I have to do the name. I have to do the name. Let's do export. And I don't have to write the function here. What do you say? Message syntax unexpected token. Wait, just a second. Okay, so just control that. Okay, so here you see, if you write the default keyword, it will use it using the default keyword. Okay, if you don't write the default keyword, it will be the named. So here we are importing using the named. We just write the name. We are not writing the default keyword. Okay, cool. This is how do we write. So rather than writing this, you can say const and this what do you say, const app, and this is how do we write, to be precise. This is how do we write, to be precise, because generally we use arrow function in JavaScript. अब बताओ मुझे if you have any doubt कि हमने export discuss कर लिया, function discuss कर लिया, import export discuss कर लिया, and we discuss about the JSX, we discuss about the conditional statement, we discuss about the ternary operator. Sir, please start React from very break, like please go forward with the reactors, okay? Like installation to the basic explanation. चलो ठीक है, मैं बताता हूँ, basically बताता हूँ. ठीक है, let's create a few components so that you can understand in detail. देखो, सब चीज रिमूव करो, ठीक है? And let's go here. Let's remove this. Let me tell you, because I feel like lots of you already know the reactors, so I just recap it. So here, if I just remove this, we have few things that we have to do. That's so here you see that element type is invalid. So why is the element type is invalid? Because we haven't created anything here. We haven't created anything here. So how to create a functional component? For creating a functional component, you can say const app is equals to this method. Okay, and here you have to return JSX. So rather than returning the JSX, I'm currently saying h1 hello world. Okay, this is my component, and I have to export it. So let's simply export it. Okay, now it will say to export it. Wait a second. Where is the app.js? Yep. Element type is invalid. Expected a string. So okay, we have to do in that way only. Return h1 hello world. h1 cool. And yep, and let's go here and make it default. Go here and make it export default app, and just simply remove this. Okay, so देखो, in the React.js there are two kind of component. But what is component? Component are basic JSX element. What is element? Element is simply this is. So we can say this is the element which has some text, which has some content, and yep. This is what element is. So if I just take a screenshot, so let me be. So here if you see, this is h1. First of all, you will have h1, then some content, and then you have the h1. So this is known as tag, as you learn about in the HTML tags. Okay, so these are the HTML tags. This is the content. This is the content inside the HTML. And this complete is the JSX element. This complete is the JX element. And this complete JSX element, like there can be lots of elements. Okay. Currently we have only a simple h1. There can be lots of JSX element. That's complete is a one component. One component. And this component can be of two types. Like how do you write the function? This can be like function or class component. Nowadays, after ES6, we don't write class component. We only write function component. So I'm not going to discuss with the class component. What is class component? How do we write? Because nowadays, nobody use class component. So how to call the like this function component? So for calling the function component, we can call it in the two way. We can call this function two way. So the first, you can use the arrow function. This is how do we write the arrow function. You write const, you have to write const, that the function name, app. You can write this also, but it is not recommended. You can write any name, function name, but this is not recommended in the React.js. You should write the capital. And then you have to like just parameter and yep. And here in the function component, this is the function component. You have to return the JSX. Here you will return the JSX. Now I'm talking in very brief. So JSX, you have to write it here. In what is this JSX? If I talk about what is this JSX, so JSX is an extension to the JavaScript where we can add HTML. So here we can add the HTML plus JavaScript. Now, how to add the JavaScript? How to add? So for that, let's discuss again. For adding the JavaScript, you have to open the entry gate. So let's say if I write hello, and then I write this curly bracket. This opening curly bracket is the entry gate. Entry gate of JavaScript. Entry gate of JavaScript. After that, whatever you are going to write, after this, whatever you are going to write will be our JavaScript code. Before that, it is HTML. As soon as you find this curly bracket, now whatever you are going to see is the JavaScript until you find the closing gate. This is the closing gate of JavaScript. Okay, so now let's create few components so that you understand this in much more detail. Okay, now let's create a few functions. So I'm creating a function. Okay, before going to that, here if you see, we have the public folder. In the public folder, we have the index.html file. Here are lots of stuff, but you can ignore 90% of the stuff. If you can ignore this. Here we have some metadata and some title React app. We can change it to our first app. Okay, first app, and you will see where this the data title will look like. So if you just open in the new window, you can see the first tab. This is the first tab. This is where the title is looking like. And here you just write the simple div. The simple div. All the components you are going to create will be entered in this, inside this. Cool. So a simple file HTML. This is what we have to do. Now comes to the index.js. Here, what we are going to do, we are going to create a root element inside the root. See, the ID is same. If it is root, so the ID here is also root. If I change this ID to X like this, so I have to change the same here also. I have to change it here also. Otherwise, it will not work. Cool. So now what we are going to do, we are going to use React DOM. So एक चीज बताओ मुझे. First thing first. There are two line of code. Okay. There are two line of code. Import React from React. Okay. Nowadays we don't write this, but earlier we used to write. Okay. And writing React.dom from the client. Why do we write each line? What is the purpose of this? Like, did you understand what is import React from React means? Did you understand this? How many of you know why do we write this line? How many of you know how do we write this line? Any one of you know what is the meaning of import React from React and what is the need of doing that? Not anyone? किसी को नहीं पता? चलो ठीक है. So basically, as we already know that this app function is using JSX, this JSX, and JavaScript don't know how to execute the JSX. Okay, so we need a few more tools. We are not going to discuss that how Webpack and the Babel work, but this is a need for executing this JSX file. Okay, so whatever this kind of source in the app, whatever the code here, it is the JSX file. So under the hood, it converts it into the JavaScript object and execute that. So for that, we need this import React from React. Why do we need React DOM? So as I already talk about that in the web development, this is not limited, like the front-end development or the React is not limited to the web only. We are creating the mobile app also, where we use the React Native. So this React is used for the JSX and this React DOM is used for the web development. So if you are going to use Android, so like if you are going to use mobile development, so you will write something like React Native. Okay, but right now, because we are using the website, so we are saying React DOM. And now what we are going to do, we are going to create the root and render that root. Okay, this is a simple index.file. If you have any doubt, just let me know. अगर कुछ डाउट है इसमें तो बताओ. Otherwise, I am going to create a simple login page. Simple login page. और कोई डाउट है? किसी को डाउट नहीं है? किसी को समझ आ रहा है? बाय द वे ये तो बताओ पहले. How many of you are able to understand this? No response. I am understanding. Yes, sir. देखो यार, the reason behind that you may be not able to understand it because before understanding this stuff, you should know how the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript work. If you don't know how the JavaScript work, learning React.js will be like kind of waste of your time. Okay, so you should at least know HTML, CSS, and JavaScript before learning React.js. This is my personal suggestion. First of all, just give 1 month of learning HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. You can check out lots of online resources, and then you should go to this React.js. Okay, so let's create a simple component so that after this you can learn about that. So I'm going to create a div here, a div, and inside that div we will have a let's say, yep, I will have another div. Okay, yeah, kind of that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take an input. I will create a form kind of stuff, and inside that form I will say input, and that input will be type of text, and here I will say username. Okay, and that should be above. Then we will have something like password, and or email ID. But let's have a password. I will write input type is equals to password, and yep, this is how to be right. And finally, I will write a button. This will say submit. Okay, or login. So right now you see we have to do lots of design, but for now just skip the design. And one more thing that I want to do is let's remove this first div. So how to add the design? For adding the design, you have to write the class name, and then you will add the design. So before adding the design, you should add the CSS file here. So wait, if it is already added in the index.js, then you don't need. Okay, we need to add it in the app. So here you have to write import, and your style.css. So it is styles, not style. Okay. Perfectly work. So now I'm going to give it a class container, and let's go to style.css, write dot container class, which will say your width is 500 pixels, your border will be 1 pixel. 1 pixel. Let's see if it's working fine or not. Class name container, and background color black. Okay, so it's working perfectly fine. So I don't want to give a background color, but I want to give a flex box. Okay, I want to give a display, and flex direction will be let's have a row. It's not working. Let's do something like that. Okay. Okay, so border should be 1 pixel solid black. This is how it works. Cool. Now what I want to do, I want to add it a div inside that. Okay, let's have a div, and inside that div, this will be here. Okay, and similarly, I will have one more div. Inside that div, we will have another div. So now we don't need to do that. And now what I want to do, I come to the input, and I will give them some padding, no, some margin, and that will be from top to bottom it will be like 12 pixels, and from the side it will be just 4 pixels. Did you see this simple form? Did you see the simple form? And here also I will give some margin, not margin, padding of 12 pixels. This is the simple form we have created. So here you can write your username like Vishal, and here you can write your password and click on the login. Okay. I don't want to save it. This is the simple form. So I will say login form h1 and login form. So for that we need to use a div again, and let's keep it here. And we don't need, let's go to the container. Where is the container? Yeah. We don't need to write this. Cool. We have the login form, kind of this stuff. And if I remove this, let's have this with the 320 pixels. And let's put everything text line to the center. Okay, lots of good stuff happening right now. Now what I'm planning to do is, in my login form, whatever I write, on clicking this, I want to make it user login. Okay, for that you should know about the hook. Okay, for that you should know about the hook. So, but before introducing, because it's the part of the next class, I want to ask, how many of you understand about the use state hook? If you understand, then बहुत अच्छे से समझा दूंगा मैं. In this video I will explain it very briefly, like how this use state function works, and after this class you are able to create few basic React.js projects. Okay, no idea. Chalo, ठीक है. So basically what we have discussed is, generally what we do is, we don't create function, we don't create a single component. As I have already mentioned, we divide our components to different functions. Okay, so let's say currently we have this login form, and this have lots of other details. So what we generally do, we create a new file. Not here. We create a new file. We say form.js. Okay, form.js, and this inside that we will put all this form data. Okay, kind of this, yeah, like that. And you can remove this. Now, if I come here, you already know how to create a component. So you will say const form dot kind of this, and you will return this. And you know that you have to write export default and form. Okay, and then just simply. And now I just come here. I will say form. But you are not able to see that this form is imported. Did you understand? Now it is not like 50 lines of code. It is very simple. Just 8 lines of code, like 8 to 9 lines of code. Did you understand this? Now, if you want to pass few value, to your other component, how you will pass it? Let's say I already know what is my login form. Okay, so let's say I have some const login, that is true, and then we have a const name, const username, that is Vishal, and const password, which we already know, 𝗏𝗏𝗏 @ this stuff. We already know this is our password. Okay, so what we can do is, we can pass this to our other component. We can pass this here. So how to pass these values to other function? So if you discuss about, like, if I talk about function, let's say I have the function sum, and this sum will take a comma b, and it will return b a plus b. Now if I have to call this sum a plus b, how I will call it? I will say const the answer was answer is equals to sum and 4,5. And if I console.log, if I show the answer here, like just console.log answer. So if you go to the console and clear every single thing and just save it again, let me make it. That okay. Let's make like changes to 6. 6. Why I'm not able to type? 6. Why I'm not able to type? Let's reload it. Cancel. Okay, 6. Yeah. So here you can see this 10 is visible. Okay, this 10 is visible. So this is how do we call the function. Similarly, this what is this component? Component are also the function. Component are the functional component. Now this is also the function which can take the argument and work on that. So similarly, if you get the output, you can pass the output here in the form. There will be output which will be like props. Okay, so this is what props is, and here I can pass the data like login is equals to login and username equals to username and the password equals to password. Cool. Now if I pass this value, I can get all this value inside this. So if I just comment this like that, and if I write here my username, so how to write the username? You will say props dot username. Okay. Similarly here you will comment it and you will say props dot password. Simple. Okay, username by use would be smaller. Simply I will say if it is login, simply I will say here if login is true, then you will say welcome. Okay, otherwise you will say login. So that should be inside curly braces, and that should be a string, and that should be a string. Okay, and here it say what is this login. So we don't have any login. We say props.login. See, because we currently have all the data, we say welcome. Okay, we say welcome. But you see, we have to write like there can be lots of information we can pass it here. So rather than writing props.props.props, we can simply write username. We can simply write password. We can skip these props. But for that, we have to do destructuring. So this is also we learn in the JavaScript itself. So how to do a destructure? So we will destructure it and we will write username and then password and your login here. So make sure if you write the props like destructure, so there should be this opening and closing curly bracket. Opening and closing will be curly bracket. Cool. So now I don't want to do like that. I don't want to do like that. I don't want to do this. I don't want to. Yep. I don't want to do this. Again, I don't want to do this. I just want to say login. Okay, login. So how I will use it now? How I will use it now? Simply, I will use a state. I will use a state here. I will use a state here in this app.file. So this is what props are, and props are only readable. You can't change the props value. Okay. समझ आ रहा है? Sir, can I import like this in the pure JavaScript? Yes. Fill this feedback form after the session. No idea. समझ आया ये जो मैंने अभी बताया कि props क्या होते हैं? What is props? What is props? If you know about the parameter in function, then you already know what is props in functional component. Yes. If you already know like any other programming language, then it's very similar to that only. समझ आया कि नहीं आया? Any doubt? We can discuss about. Okay, got it. We can discuss about the state and all other stuff too. But as far as I know, that in this session I have to talk about the introductions to web development. We have talked about that. Internship and job opportunity. I will talk about this also. And the prerequisite we discuss, front-end technology we discuss. We just have to discuss the functional component. We are going to learn about the state and the props drilling, React hooks, React Nest.js in the day 2. So I think this is good for this session. I want to again talk about the what are the like jobs and internship opportunity and how you can get it. So once you learn the web development, you have created a good amount of projects, then you should go to this website. Okay, nobody will tell you this website. Nobody will tell you about this website. Telephone. 𝗰𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗲 Combinator. Okay, if you are interested into the remote work, 𝗰𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃 Combinator is the platform where you want to go. These are the two platforms that if you want to go for job, you just write whatever package you want and you will get all the jobs. So let me just remove all the market, clear it. And here you can see that there are 578 jobs. Okay, 578 jobs for the full time. But if I add all type of job, like there will be contract jobs, which is also full time. There is the co-founder, which is also full time. And if you are looking for internship, then also you can do that. But for now, let's keep. And the salary range is good, package is good, and you already know the lights of this. So you can see there are more than 600 jobs, and few of these jobs are they pay in the dollar. Okay, so if you see, this third web is looking for a software engineer in the United Kingdom, England, Canada, New York, India. Okay, India, and you can read about what they are looking for. If you are someone who know Python, TypeScript, and Rust, just these three languages. If you know Python, TypeScript, and Rust, then you are available for this kind of job, which is paying 120 and 200k dollar. If I just simply store 200k dollar in rupees, that will be 1.65 crore. 1.65 crore. And I don't know any fan companies or any companies which offer this much amount. So even if you just have 2-year experience, you can get more than 1.65 crore package with just basic knowledge. Not the basic knowledge, but you should have the good knowledge of that. Okay. So there are lots of opportunity. If you are learning front-end development, back-end development, Django, JavaScript, whatever you are learning, there are lots of stuff, lots of opportunity right now. In the India also, the average you are getting is 7 to 12. And if I scroll down, you can see there are lots of good opportunity. But if you go to the LinkedIn job section, there are also good. But the worst thing about the LinkedIn job is they don't mention their pay scale. So you will feel any random job. But here you already know how much they will going to pay you. Like if I talk about on the 15 to 20 LPA, this is a very good amount of salary. Considering like you know only HTML, CSS, JavaScript, basic of MongoDB, Node.js, which is used for backend. Topic we use like they will have some topping experience things, and JS and AWS. So I would say to learn this, how much time you will need? You just need hardly 4 to 6 months. And here if you see there will be some experience. No, they don't ask for a like working experience. They don't ask. Here they have written 2+ years of experience, and that will be hands-on experience, not a working experience. and they are paying very good. So if you are someone who is looking for jobs, you do check out this website. I am finding lots of good stuff. 15 to 35 LPA for Java, React.js related. But if you know this, you are good to go. And 15, 35, like, that's a good amount, really good amount, considering you just know this series skill. So yeah, I think this is it for this session. If you have any doubt, bata sakte ho, otherwise we can conclude this session. This is the simple component that we have created. इतना ही कर सकते हैं. उसके बाद तो स्पेस एंड प्रॉफ बनाने पड़ेंगे. वो नेक्स्ट क्लास में होगा. वैसे तो 1 घंटे में पूरी रिएक्ट सिखा सकता हूँ, बट सिखाने नहीं चाहूँगा क्योंकि अभी जावास्क्रिप्ट नहीं आती मुझे. But for the jobs we need experience, and for experience we need job. It's a never-ending cycle. Who said that? Who said that? This is a very big misconception. Let me show you something. Let me show you something. There are 2 kinds of experience. Okay. In this video, why you are not getting going to do this? I do a live stream. In that live stream, I talk about why you are not getting offer. Because you see, they need experience and you don't apply. There are 2 kinds of experience. Nobody will tell you there are 2 kinds of experience. The first experience is the working experience, professional experience. Okay, professional experience, non-intensive experience. If you find this kind of terms, professional experience, full-time experience, non-intensive experience, that means you should work in any company for at least that period of time, like 1 year, 2 years, and whatever that's given. But if they ask working experience or hands-on experience, so this means you are working on React.js or JavaScript at least on that period of time. Let me give you a brief example. Let's say you are a first year student. You are in the first year. You haven't worked for any company. But after the 12th, you start learning JavaScript and you are learning JavaScript since 1 year. So you have 1 year of hands-on experience, working experience. If you find any job opening which asks for a 1 year of experience, you can apply for that. After the 4 year of your graduation, you will have 4 year of experience in the JavaScript, React.js. You can apply, but that is a hands-on experience. If they ask for, like, nobody asks for 4 year experience, generally they ask for 1 or 2 year of experience. So if they ask for 1 or 2 year of experience, they mean 1 or 2 year of hands-on experience. Most of the case, 90% of the case, they ask for hands-on experience for the fresher. So it's not like that, either for the job we need experience and for the experience we need a job. It's not like that. If you want to get an experience, build project. Building project means you have experience of learning, like building stuff. This is what they need. This is what they need. And you have more doubt, yeah, you can unmute and you can ask any doubt. Like I do lots of live streaming on my YouTube channel soon, where I discuss this whole stuff. I'm checking if we have any doubts, kind of thing. Okay, we don't have any doubt. If you have any doubt, you can unmute yourself and you can ask anything, whatever you want to. This is the basic stuff that you should know. Like, to be very honest, you can learn React.js in just 1 or 2 hours of crash code. 7 days are very good. 7 days are very good. So we are learning React.js in very detail and in the very slow phase. Third, do we get a certificate? I am not aware of that. The host will tell you. Yes. So you will get this as like certificate after 7 days once you attend all the sessions. Yeah. Yeah, आज के ज़माने में ना, like you don't even need to ask question. You just go to like Google and you say React courses, YouTube, and you will find this is the best platform. Best मतलब इससे best कहीं नहीं होगा. So if you see something like that, the 2 platform which I recommend is Free Code Camp and the second is the JavaScript Mastery. JavaScript Mastery. if you are into like, if you can learn about stuff, you can go through the JavaScript mastery. There are lots of stuff related to this, and like JavaScript and other like next years. You can learn lots of stuff here. And if you want to learn in the Hindi, then there are channels like 𝗃𝗏𝗃𝗲 and the 𝗃𝗶𝗃𝗃𝗃 करके कुछ है, मतलब you can see that. Yes. Anything else you want? Or read out? Is it necessary to acquire every skill listed in the job posting? If you have the 60-70%, that's good. Fundamental and willing to learn a specific framework technology as we need it. You don't need to master every skill, you just know the skills. You just know how to solve the problem using any tech stack. Okay. For an example, I don't know React Native. Okay, I don't know the React Native. Suddenly, my team required me to build an application using a React Native. So I should be that much level of confident that yeah, just give me 1 or 2 days. Just give me 1 hour or just give me like 1 day. I will figure out how this React Native works, and from the second day I will start coding. This is what you have to do. Generally, when you go join any company, you don't do like that. That give me 6 months and 3 months for learning any language, and then I will start working. They will give you 1 or 2 days. You will figure out how things work, and after like from the second day or sometime from the first day itself, you start implementing the new skills. So this is how we work. We don't like learn 100% of that and then we will work. And we can't even learn the 100% without working, because when we are working, then we will see some problems, and then that's how we learn. The best way of learning is building a small project, not the big projects, because big projects बना नहीं सकते हो. The reason behind that is नहीं बना सकते. The way the projects which you are going to work on in the companies and the projects you are making is totally different. Without a बताओ यार, otherwise we can conclude this meeting, I guess. No, sir. Thank you. Yep. Thanks everyone for joining and listening every single thing. And I hope you understand the React.js, how this React.js works, how the web development works, what is client, what is server, how to get the data, how this HTML, CSS, JavaScript file loaded on the web screen. I talked the very brief introduction, like if you don't know, if you didn't understand, then also it doesn't matter. But कभी जब तुम्हें जाके समझ आएगा, तब तुम्हें समझ आएगा कि how this thing works. But for now, you can, because you don't even know HTML, CSS, JavaScript, so you don't need to worry about this stuff. But this is it for this session. Okay, bye everyone. Thank you.
That was an amazing session, so we definitely learned a lot. So as we wrap up this insightful session, our gratitude goes out to each one of you for your active participation and curiosity in the session. Your presence today has made this event a great success. So before we part ways today, we would like to invite you to subscribe to Mr. Vishal's YouTube channel, where he primarily teaches data structure and algorithms in JavaScript and a host of other valuable topics. It's a fantastic resource to continue your learning journey. We look forward to welcoming you back tomorrow for day 2 of our web development bootcamp with more exciting insights and hands-on experience to further hone your skills. Our sincere thanks to Mr. Rajput for his valuable insights and all of you for your dedication to learning. Thank you all once again for joining us today. Have a great day ahead, and we eagerly anticipate continuing this incredible journey with you tomorrow. Don't forget to fill up the feedback form so you can ensure your certificate of participation. Thank you.